Welcome, everyone. This is the FYE Talks podcast. I'm Alexis Hutchinson, and I'm going to be acting as your host today. We have a very special guest, and we're super excited to be talking about another super interesting topic here on the podcast. And so tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. for another great episode. And so, like I said, we have a super awesome guest and a very interesting topic, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Linda Smiley, and I am the I Hope therapist at Communicare in Elizabethtown.
Awesome. And so today we're talking about psychosis. And so that's something I feel like not a lot of people either know about or maybe they have experiences with it and they are just unaware. So can you give us a kind of general explanation of what psychosis is?
Okay, psychosis is an abnormal condition of the mind that results in difficulties determining what is real and what is not real. Sometimes symptoms may include delusions and hallucinations. Other symptoms may include incoherent speech and behavior that is inappropriate for the situation. There may be sleep problems, social withdrawal, lack of motivation, and difficulties carrying out daily activities.
Gotcha. And so when it comes to psychosis, who are the demographics that this is most affected by, would you say?
I think it just is. I don't think
Gotcha.
there's any demographic.
There's any young people, old people, anybody can have psychosis.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And so you work for Communicare. And so what does your program do exactly in helping somebody cope with this psychosis?
Okay, what we try to do is help the individual identify their symptoms.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes they don't know that they're having these, or sometimes they're just early symptoms.
Gotcha.
And they don't really understand it. They may be having difficulty with school. They may feel like, they might walk in a classroom and they kind of start thinking, somebody's laughing in the classroom and they think, oh, well, they're laughing at me.
Gotcha.
So they start having some symptoms of paranoia and they just don't understand it. So we try to help them understand and get them back on track in order for them to, try to have a more normal life.
Awesome.
Some don't need medication, some do, but it's up to them.
Gotcha. And so when it comes to psychosis and having these either, misinterpretations of a situation or these abnormal thoughts or visions, is it usually multiple symptoms that come together to let you know that you might need treatment or might need to seek out that help? Or should they start seeking out help as soon as they think they might have some symptoms of psychosis?
Well, if they start noticing things that just maybe something just doesn't feel right, then maybe that's a good indication to go talk to somebody.
Gotcha.
Because some of the symptoms are normal symptoms that every other adolescent has.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, definitely thinking, maybe you walk into a room and people are chuckling. I could see how many people would feel that way.
But the difference is when somebody is having an issue is they're not able to differentiate the reality of it. Because
Gotcha.
we could say, oh, well, maybe somebody told a joke and you kind of move on, but they might not be able to do that. They might think they're definitely laughing at me, and it just kind of builds.
Gotcha. And it starts to affect their everyday lives. Gotcha. And so kind of being more reserved, being more shut in, those are definitely times to reach out.
Yes, and a lot of times families, it's good indication that, families will start noticing things, but sometimes they don't know either. So sometimes it's just hard to identify.
Gotcha. Definitely, definitely. And so it's really great that Communicare is trying to reach out and bring more awareness to this. Do you see a lot of people in our community kind of having this psychosis diagnosis? Is it kind of prevalent here in Hardin County?
Well, I'm sure that it is. I just don't think a lot of people know about I Hope.
True.
And I think it's such a stigma with the media, when you see young people or just people going in and shooting. I remember having a client one time, he told me that he didn't want to be identified as somebody that's going to go out and kill someone.
Gotcha.
And I told him, I said, that's not necessarily the case, but he felt embarrassed to come forward because he thought people were going to think that he was going to be a shooter.
Gotcha. So there's definitely that stigma of this person's dangerous, they're unhinged, and that's just not true, of course.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And so are there ways that kind of the community or people around here could help to take that stigma away or help, kind of turn the tide and say, hey, that's not true. That's not how people are going to view you. You need to go and get this help.
I think more education. If people are more educated about psychosis, I think people are afraid of mental illness.
In general.
And so, but I think just education and just knowing that a person doesn't have to have schizophrenia to have psychosis. I mean, there's some medical conditions. There's some medications that can cause, you have hallucinations. So
Gotcha.
it's different. Yeah.
It's definitely a little bit harder to pick, right on as opposed to maybe something else.
It sure is.
Yeah.
You know when you're depressed, but you're not sure when you think you hear somebody talking to you or calling your name, and you look around, there's nobody there, and it's, you're thinking, what is going on? So you kind of question it and thinking, well.
And so what are some of the ways that psychosis can impact somebody's daily life to where you might say, if you're experiencing this, maybe it's time to reach out?
Well, sometimes when they start having a lot of, the way you talk about psychosis is either the negative symptoms or the hallucinations, delusions.
Yeah.
And then the positive symptoms is the, isolation, the hygiene, those are the things like, not going out in public. Maybe somebody just stopped going to get their mail and the mail is starting to pile up, or they're not bathing, they're...
Gotcha.
Different things like that.
So definitely pulling away from family and friends, not taking care of the things that you need to because you're feeling overwhelmed by these thoughts and, hallucinations that you may be experiencing.
Exactly.
And so is psychosis in relation to something like schizophrenia, is it more of a symptom or is it a separate condition entirely?
Psychosis is more of a symptom.
Gotcha.
Because, like I said, somebody can have psychosis and not be considered schizophrenic.
Gotcha.
So, you can even have the psychosis with depression.
Gotcha.
Or psychosis with PTSD. There's other diagnoses that you can have psychosis that goes along with it.
Gotcha. Awesome. And so is there anything that you would like to recommend a student does or reach out to iHope in their services, like kind of a word of wisdom that you'd like to impart to them?
Well, I think that if you're experiencing something that seems unusual, it's at least unusual to what you've been experiencing, just talk to somebody that you trust, that it's not going to blow you off. It's going to take you serious. Just have a good support system.
Awesome. And so there are many ways at ECTC's campus that you can get help if you have questions about, is this something I need to talk to somebody with? Odds are, if you're thinking you might need to talk to somebody, it's better to reach out in the first place. So you could reach out to Spalding. They offer therapy and different services in that vein. If you have a question or you want to get connected with iHope, you can always come to the FYE Lift Lounge. Miss Pam Best or myself would love to help get you in contact with that program. There are many safe spaces here on campus where you can reach out to faculty and staff if you have questions or if you notice, like we said, something's just a little off and something's just not adding up to the way that it used to, or that you feel like you're pulling more away from family, friends, your classes, things like that. And so thank you so much for joining us today. This has been very educational, and I hope that everybody kind of takes a minute to reevaluate and say, hey, is this, something I need to maybe talk about? And we'll definitely get you connected with iHope in the community.
Thank you.
Awesome. And so this has been Alexis Hutchinson and
Linda Smiley.
Awesome. And we're so happy that you tuned in for the FYE Talks podcast episode over psychosis.
Hey guys, my name is Holly Yingling and I am a member of the ECTC FYE Club. I joined the club at the beginning of the semester as a way to just get more involved on campus and meet some new people and make some new friends, and it's been great. I'm here to give you an update about what's been going on and what we've been doing. So our first thing in September, our first event that we did was a food drive for the ECTC lunchbox. Followed by that, we did a candy drive in which the club members helped bag candy for the Freeman Lake Treats in the Park event on Halloween. We ended up bagging and donated 170 bags of candy. Following the Halloween festivities, our club members conducted a costume contest for the faculty and staff members here at ECTC. Our winner for that contest was Michelle Simpson from the business offices, so big congratulations to her. Another event we did in October was the charity event with Belk, raising $190 for our student club. Our latest club involvement is our Santa's Elves project, in which we will be collecting donations and goodies to be brought to the nursing home called Sunrise Manor, and we will be delivering these seniorgrams for the elderly as a gift on Christmas. I'm very excited for this event, and if you'd like to be a part of it, or if you just want to join the club to try something new or make some new friends, I urge you to do so. And you can contact always our lovely Pam Best, who is our faculty advisor, at pbest0002@kctcs.edu, or our club president, Trinity Bradley, at tbradley0061@kctcs.edu. So I hope to see you join. Can't wait to meet you all, and I hope you have a great week.